If you're a parent, you know the feeling. That daily tug of war over phones, tablets, and the TV. It can be exhausting, and, it can feel like you're the only one going through it, but you are absolutely not alone. Let's figure this out together.
Does that sound familiar? I mean, really familiar. That's a quote from a parent in India, but it could have come from a home just about anywhere in the world. This struggle is universal, and just knowing we're all in the same boat, well, that's a pretty good place to start.
And this number, wow, it really puts things into perspective. A recent study of toddlers in India found that a staggering 88.7% were getting more than the recommended 1 hour of screen time a day. Now look, this isn't about pointing fingers or making anyone feel guilty. It's just about recognizing that this is a huge challenge, and we need a real strategy to handle it.
So why is having a strategy so critical? Because we're talking about something that has a real impact on our kids, especially in those super important early years when their brains and bodies are growing so fast.
It's not just one thing. Think of it like a chain reaction. Studies show that too much screen time can be linked to delays in kids picking up language and can mess with their ability to focus. It can totally throw off their sleep, which, as you know, affects their mood, their learning, everything. And of course, the more time they spend sitting and staring at a screen, the less time they have for running around and playing, which is just so essential for a healthy body.
Okay, so what are we supposed to do? The great news is we don't have to guess. Pediatric experts all over the world have looked at this really closely and have given us some clear, science-backed advice to lean on. All right, let's break this down. And what's amazing is how much everyone agrees. Both the Indian Academy of Pediatrics and the American Academy of Pediatrics say the same thing for kids under 2. Basically, no screens. The only exception is video chats with family. Then, for kids between 2 and 5, the big consensus is to cap it at 1 hour a day of high-quality stuff. And, this is important, to watch it with them. For the older kids, from 6 to 10, the AAP recommends keeping it under 2 hours, while the AAP really focuses on creating a family media plan to make sure screens aren't crowding out sleep and playtime.
And that leads us to a really important shift in how we think about all this. Because while setting a timer is a great start, the experts are telling us to look beyond just the clock. The quality of what they're doing on that screen is just as important, maybe even more so than the quantity.
So this is where we get practical. How do we take all this expert advice and actually make it work in our own homes with our own crazy schedules? It all starts with understanding that there are 2 totally different types of screen time.
First, you've got passive screen time. Think of this as zombie mode. It's when your kid is just consuming, mindlessly watching cartoons by themselves or just scrolling through an endless stream of videos. There's no thinking, no creating, no real engagement happening.
But then you have active screen time. This is lean-in mode. This is when their brain is switched on. It could be a video call with grandma and grandpa, playing an educational game that makes them think, or even getting creative and making their own little movie. They're part of the action, not just watching it go by.
When you see it side by side like this, the difference is pretty clear, right? Watching a show alone is passive. Drawing together on a tablet is active. The goal isn't to get rid of every screen in the house. It's just to try and shift the balance, to tip the scales away from that mindless consumption and toward more of that good active stuff.
This is exactly why a family media plan can be such a game changer. It's basically a simple agreement for your whole family. First, you decide on clear time limits. Second, you create screen-free zones, like no phones at the dinner table or in bedrooms. Third, you have a chat about being safe and kind online. And fourth, this is the secret sauce, you make the plan together so everybody feels like they're on the same team. So what does this actually look like? Well, if you're in a multi-generational home in India, maybe it means everyone agrees to put their phones in a basket during meals. For a family in the US where a lot of homework is on a computer, it's about finding that balance between schoolwork and screen-free fun. And for every single one of us, the most powerful thing we can do is model the behavior we want to see.
Of course, even the best plan is going to run into a few, shall we say, roadblocks. Life happens, things get busy, and let's be honest, our kids can be pretty convincing negotiators. So what do you do when your plan meets reality?
Ah yes, the moment we all know and love. You say, okay, screen time is over, and boom, the meltdown begins. The arguments, the tears, the classic, just 5 more minutes. It can honestly wear you down.
Okay, here's the playbook for that moment. First, acknowledge their feelings. Just say, I get it, you're sad the show is over. A little empathy works wonders. But then, Calmly and firmly stick to the rule you all agreed on. Next, explain the why in simple terms. It's not a punishment, it's about making sure our brains and bodies get time to do other fun things, like playing and reading. And finally, this is key, have something else ready to go. Don't just take something away, offer something else. Hey, let's go build that Lego set. Or how about we read that new book? It turns the transition into an invitation.
I know, looking at all of this at once can feel overwhelming, but please, don't feel like you have to overhaul your entire life tomorrow. Getting to a healthier place with screens in your home starts with just 1 or 2 small, simple changes.
The most important thing you can do is just start. So here are 3 super simple things you can try literally today. 1. Have one meal together that is completely screen-free. Just 1. 2. Tonight, move all the chargers out of the bedrooms. Have a central charging station somewhere else in the house. And 3, try swapping just 30 minutes of that passive screen time for something active. Go for a quick walk, play a board game, anything.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about creating a few more moments of real connection in a world that's always pulling us apart. What's one tiny change you can make, starting right now?
The information we've shared today comes from the official guidelines and research of leading global health organizations, including the Indian Academy of Pediatrics and the American Academy of Pediatrics. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.